Tonight we're going to talk about sound healing, um, solfeggio frequencies, like what that actually is, and I'm going to butcher the way you say it, binaural beats. Binaural beats, I believe, is the it is, and we're also going to be talking about the power of actually what you speak. So all the sounds that you can hear and you can emit. All right, so let me get Megan in here. Let me make sure I have my clingy clangs. All right, let me get you in here, Megan. We got you. Hey,
Hi. I'm
how
trying
you
to.
doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Um, I'm I'm lacking
Energy.
caffeine.
Yeah. Well, it's later in the day. You're allowed. I'm trying to get this position so you can see. Is that good? Or is that still too high?
You're never too high, baby.
All right. You know. You know.
Dude, stop it. All right, all
So,
set.
yep. All set. I think that's the best I'm gonna get it right now.
No, that's fine. Let me turn this down. Can everybody hear me? Am I good? You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you good.
Okay, good. So, why don't you introduce yourself? Sorry.
Sorry. um. Hi, I'm Megan or Athena or May, whatever you call it. One of those is acceptable. From the Peace Path, and um, I first want to thank you, Jade, for having me on for today. And I really was looking forward to this because I feel like it's definitely information that the collective needs to know right now. But yeah, I'm a sound healer, or correctly, a sonic alchemist, a Reiki level 2 IET healer, card reader, all that. So, but I'm really looking forward to this topic. So, thank you for having me.
So what made you want to? I remember when I first met you. I think that's when you first took your class. Now, um, what drew you to sound healing? Because I mean, I knew about you know when I was younger. I used to listen to binaural beats. I think I'm saying it right. Am I saying
Yeah,
it right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you are.
We used to listen to that. Because we were really into astral projection when we were younger.
Hmm.
And when we were younger, oof, hit the
Yeah,
home run.
I know, right? Kind of hurts sometimes accepting that.
But that's what we actually used to listen to, all these tracks and try to, like really get ourselves out there. And I kind of think I knew about solfeggio, but not more so until like I talked to you, like I knew about the different frequencies and stuff, but what got you into sound healing? I guess maybe
So,
it might resonate with somebody.
yeah, so honestly, the class that I ended up taking, I had actually scouted that guy out like 5 years prior because I always knew that sound healing drew me in. I danced for 8 years when I was younger, and there was something about the music that just allowed me to feel free. And that's when I actually looked for a sound healing, and then I found it, but I couldn't afford it at the time. So it was really weird because when I got wind of it again through an old colleague, she had mentioned it, and I looked at the guy's picture. I'm like, wow, this is that guy. So it kind of came full circle, and that was actually their last grouping of that Sonic Alchemist attunement. So it just worked out the way it was supposed to work out. Not when I wanted it initially, but it worked out. So I'm really honored to have joined that class and learned from them. Jay Schwed and Megan Walker were their names, and they're
Oh,
still
sweet.
doing their thing. So you know.
That's cool. Um, so I guess my experience with sound healing completely, I think, was when you and a previous partner that you had been working with,
Hmm.
you had done, I did the Bridge to Healing.
Yes, I love that event. That was one of my favorite events.
And I think that's got to be at least 2 years ago now, right?
Yeah, I think it was. I
Yeah.
mean, I didn't realize it, but yeah, I think about that either a year or two ago. Um, but yeah, that was, and I love that one because it really incorporated a lot of different healing modalities at that event. So that was great.
Yeah, I
Um,
feel like maybe I might have hey Danny, I might have overwhelmed people with everything, but I found that it was good because there was something for everybody
ex-
because even if you didn't necessarily uh fought like it maybe you were just there for a medical marijuana card, or
yeah,
maybe you just wanted to learn more about herbs, or
yeah,
whatever, must just get a CBD massage.
CBD,
But
yeah,
there was
exactly.
just something for everyone there. And I had done another sound healing event, but I gotten feedback, and this is no diss to the other sound healers I worked with,
Yeah, no,
but
no,
everybody really enjoyed when you guys had played for us, and like you could really feel it like it traveled outside of the room
oh
that
yeah,
you were in. So it really, like, even when everybody was in the hallway, and
yeah,
even the cameraman, that was
yeah. I
the one
remember the
thing.
cameraman. I remember him. He was like, "That was amazing."
Yeah, he ended up, I actually was kind of pissed because he didn't get any footage, because he was like, I just figured I'd lay down with everybody.
Well, you know what? And that's the thing about sound is that you don't really have to be laying down or understand it. It works, and it works because it's part of who we are. So I mean, I love that event, and I really loved the fact that we you did provide that feedback because sometimes we don't get that feedback. We don't know. We
Yeah,
don't know.
and
People
also other people don't know, because if you've never had sound healing before, how are you even supposed to compare it to something?
don't
You
exactly,
know?
exactly.
And what would you say that what would you say that people feel, or what should people feel after they do a sound healing session, say?
I find that can range a lot depending on how much that person is like holding in, but mostly a sense of relief, and it allows things to flow. I know a lot of people, and I try to explain to people that every single sound healing is going to be different because you're a different person at that time. But if you're going to have an emotional release, whether it be body twitches, crying, whether you may feel like, you got to empty your bowels after, whatever it may be, because it does hit different people different because they have the energy blockages in different parts of their body. But overall, that release for them and that it allows for things to just flow more freely. But there are little things that we tell during the sessions that if you don't drink the water, I'm very big about that. You have to drink water. If you don't drink the water in a session, that energy that you unblocked here is going to find another spot to store itself, maybe in your lower body. So
Mm.
you really got to work with the water, which is the element of the emotions, and thank it and allow it to cleanse you. The sound is doing what it can to reverberate and clear out the cells, but that water is really going to allow it to clear itself out of your body. Because how do we remove things from our body? Through sweat, through urine, your waste, so that's where you want that energy to go out of you.
Yeah, essentially, I mean, it's no different than when you receive a massage and we tell you afterwards that you need to drink plenty of
Yeah.
fluid. But on a spiritual level, that's your chi. Your chi is your blood, is your life force. And if you let it stagnate in an area, and especially just like how you said, if you clear it out of an area and then you do nothing to flush it or you have to replenish it. So
Yeah.
now you're just, even if you're an open vessel, now you're all clear and clean, and then you do nothing to cleanse yourself, protect yourself, you're
Mm-hmm.
just going to walk right back into that negativity,
Absolutely.
um, into that situation. So after the first sound healing thing, then I did another one, and I felt that, and I really liked the variety of instruments that they had. So that was really cool. But could you tell me what the difference is between, like, what is the difference between sound healing and just like listening to like solfeggio? Or could you even explain to everybody what solfeggio is, if you know,
So,
because if you don't,
so
that's okay.
So solfeggio frequencies were actually discovered by a monk. I think his last name was Diarizzo, and he found it, and it was actually linked to like ancient chants, and it, there's some science behind it, but basically we know the music scale as it is, do re mi fa sol la ti do, but the original six tones were ut re mi fa sol la, and those can be correlated with the 396, the 417, the 528, the 639, 741, 852. We'll get to that, but that's how it kind of correlates. So when you listen to specific solfeggio tones, the ancient tones, when you listen to that type of music and healing sounds, that is absolutely precise to those numbers. When we play music, music is a vibration, so it's going to range. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
like where you're listening to the binaural beats, those are like lower frequencies, and they allow you to like chill and just like bring your body down. And solfeggio, while they do give that, they're actually increasing the frequency of your cells. So they kind of work together, and what they're doing is healing. Um, but to answer your question, the binaural beats and solfeggio, they're different, but they're both a healing type of tone. And solfeggio frequencies, you know, some people know them as, by the numbers. We
Mhm.
know that there were six ancient, but they've added like 174, 285, and 963. Um,
Mhm.
and then if you want me to, I can do it now and just kind of explain what each one is, or we can, discuss binaural beats and how that has helped you too.
Um, we'll wait to the end to do more of the description part because I want to talk about, I guess, so if you have these different frequencies now, what I'm finding that like, okay, you can go on YouTube and find them now. Are
Yes.
some of them not real? Now, are some people just typing in numbers?
Now, I can say that's quite a possibility. I mean, I can definitely say that. There are music tools that you can download as apps, like Hertz meters, where you can actually hook it up, and some musicians use them too. And you can play it and set the meter to see if it actually is. That's the only way that I could say for definite you're definitely getting what you're doing. But for the most part, I feel that the people that are providing those tones are aware of what it can do. So they're probably, I wouldn't, my gut instinct is that they're not going to do it with malice intent. They're not going to put something out there that's negative. Now, if you're listening to something and it's not doing anything for you and you're feeling like crap after, maybe check it out. But for the most part, I found that the ones, either if you pick the six ancient tones or the nine, the solfeggio nine, they're usually great and they work in succession, which I find is the best way to use them. Um,
Okay.
using one is great, but you want to kind of work your way up.
Now, if oh, I had a question and now I forgot it.
Oh no. I hope it comes back. It should come back. Usually it does.
Okay. So I guess if you're listening to the solfeggio and you're feeling things now, are there certain okay, so you touched on the fact that there's healing and that's the whole thing, like heart healing, and I view it more as, and I do know that there's more to it, but like I view it more as like this emotional or spiritual well-being
Yes.
versus like on the cellular level. But they're saying that even on the cellular level that that this healing, these sounds, these frequencies can actually, change your DNA and things like that. Do you know anything
Yes.
about that?
There's the 528 specifically, which is called the DNA repair Hertz. And that actually helps get you to like, 417 and 528 help get you to like a homeostasis with those. Um, but funny thing that you mentioned that you feel like it's on a spiritual. Like in my research, I found that according to Saint John, these ancient tones, should be used so that people can live in peace and harmony and clearly communicate with each other.
Hmm.
So I mean, these are meant for humanity to use. So I think that, you know, it's only right that we maybe popularize it again, get people aware of it so that they can use it and, you know,
Have you
repair.
had any experience with your own physical pain that this has taken away any of it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, even so much as like I think yesterday, um, my daughter and I both had headaches. I think it was chocolate. I'm pretty sure it was chocolate. Anyway, I know. Gets every time. So she's like, "Oh, my head hurts." And I was like, "All right, well, lay down." And I actually put on the solfeggio frequencies. And slowly but surely, it did start to dissipate. Specifically, like the lower hertz frequencies are used for like your physical pain. So once we got to like 396, 417, we were both feeling a lot better. We both hydrated, both rested, and it definitely worked wonders because we both feel a lot better today. But I do swear by it, and I do believe that it is meant for us to experience so that we can use it to heal and connect to the divine. I mean, ultimately.
That's awesome. Now, I want to talk about, let me just check where we're,
Mhm.
okay, we got plenty of time.
Okay.
So, it's something that I trying to, and it's like trying to connect the dots,
Mhm.
but I mean, the connection's there. So it's these frequencies in which we're vibrating on. So that's the solfeggio, that's the ancient tones, that's, actual sound.
Mhm.
And there's something to be said about actually what you say.
Yes.
And so that's even its own form of sound healing. Now, Dr. Oh, what was it? It starts with an M. You know who I'm talking about?
Uh,
He
Dr.
did the,
Matsumoto, water.
yes, the water, yes.
Matsumoto.
So that, oh man, if I had the book in here, I could have shown you. Oh, well, it's something that we had experienced, and this is like, prior to me knowing anything about sound healing, but
Mhm.
we had done this when I did my chi healing, cert class, I don't even know, 2006.
Uh-huh.
And geez.
I know, right? When you hear it, you're just like, wait a minute, wait a
Uh,
minute.
I just look young from all the sound healing.
All right, exactly. Them good vibes, baby. Cannabis and good vibes. They do
But
it for you.
we that was one of our lessons, was that you really, if to listen with intention, and that if you're listening to they played heavy metal, uh,
Yes.
they played, I think it was like wind chimes, or something simple as like I love you
Yes.
to the glass of water, and then to look at the molecular structure then later on, and you could see how crystal clear though the I love you water was versus how murky the heavy metal water was. And I had always believed that, but it really wasn't until I got older that I had noticed that, like, I have to listen to, like, I need to listen to less words.
Yes.
I need less
Yes.
words in my life,
Yes.
because I'm finding that even on this subconscious level, this crap that we're putting into our brains, it's somebody else's message, and
Yes.
sometimes it can be emotionally moving, which is great, but then it can be detrimental to you.
Absolutely.
And I find that is just something that is really fascinating, that a lot of people don't even think about, like the intention of your words, and and just, and even I listen to all sorts of music, so I'm not even
Yeah.
trying to dog heavy metal
Same.
music at all, like not even. But like, if you think about it, it's like, it's not that it's necessarily loud, but it's a chaotic,
Yes.
usual structure to
Hmm.
the music, and that's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to entice those feelings. So how are you not supposed to feel like chaotic going forward? Or if you're trying to get yourself unupset from something, then playing these music and everything like that, and it's no different than than like positive affirmation. It's no different,
Absolutely.
because it's the same exact thing.
And the fact that you mentioned the music, I don't think a lot of people realize that they changed the radio frequencies for the music that we listen to on the radio. So
Oh,
they
okay.
actually changed it to a 440 tone. It's not a 432 anymore. 432 is straight heart chakra. When you play at 440, you're messing up the rhythm. You're not allowing the message to be received by the heart. So that's why when you go to these live shows, you're just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And it hits you. And you just overcome with all these emotions because it's raw music. There's nobody like governing how you receive that message at that point because they're really just playing it live straight for you. But when you listen to stuff on the radio, you've already got the manipulation of the frequency, and then like you're saying, the words do have intention, and people don't realize what you're saying is really like it's a form of manifestation. It's like what you're speaking into the universe. Universe doesn't know when you say don't. It just says, oh, you said jump, okay, so now you're jumping, and maybe that's not the safest thing to be doing. So I mean, I really think that going forward, artists, and I feel like musicians are artists, and healers, they really need to be mindful of that. And, not necessarily that it will get the majority of the masses' attention if you're doing it like that, but it's what's needed. So I think that that's important. I think that that's important for sure.
Yeah, just to change up, my thing has been law of attraction, and because I've always seen us as antennas, like we're all made of stardust. Everybody's seen
Yes.
the quote floating around, and but it's real, it's true, it's not invalid, it's not fake. And if you think about it, your central nervous system, everything, it's our whole body is electric impulses and currents. It speaks
Yes.
very truly to the ability for us to even get electrocuted.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So
And
oh, what are you gonna say?
no, it's okay. Go ahead.
But
Go
it's
ahead.
like, the power of ourselves just in general is we don't give ourselves enough credit for what we can do for whatever reason. I don't know the best way to put it. It's almost like I feel like maybe because as soon as I say the government, then the government has stifled our voices,
Yes.
and social media fogs what is true and what is false.
Yes.
And so we don't ever really think that our voice matters. And sometimes we just speak without care and without purpose, right?
Yep.
And when we do that and we're just running our mouths to run our mouths, then we find ourselves in shit, because really that's all we're running our mouths on is about shit. And
Yep. Yep. That's
and so
facts.
when, yeah, right. And then when you find that all you can focus on are all these negative things or all these egocentric things, then you can never seek healing outside of yourself. You can never truly be in the moment. You can never truly be in the world,
Yeah.
because really, if you're never using your voice,
Mm-hmm.
you're not even using your mind. You're not
Exactly.
connected to anything. So I really stress the intention behind words and to choose your words wisely, because
Absolutely.
even something as simple as something that's really common in my house, like, oh, let me go take my fat ass outside to go exercise. Like, I grew up hearing that, right?
And as soon as you're doing that, you're stopping whatever positive things that you can create themselves because you're already defeating yourself before you even went out there.
Yeah, and it is. It's just like it sets it up. It sets up the scene. It's like, okay,
Yep.
well, you're fat. You're fat already, so you're doing this. It doesn't. You are already fat. Like, you
And even
are
and
already
even
this.
and even the word I believe I have a book. It's called Angel Words, and it talks about the frequency of the actual words and
Mm,
how. Oh, I should have grabbed it, but how it shows certain words and how low frequency they are, and it gives you like the negative words and the positive words and how to like almost you almost have to relearn how to speak because even certain words were created. Like me and my one friend were talking about my one wonderful friend, Beba, and we were talking about even the word daughter. It almost sounds like doubt her.
Hmm.
And with the sun, sun means clarity. So even the wording just seems like it's a stifling vibration, like it prevents it from even realizing its true potential.
Yep. Yeah.
So, maybe at that point we do need to say our God seed. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
instead
Yeah.
of instead of that word. So it shows. I mean, it's important, and I feel like if we can expose younger generations to this now and teach them these things, they can use that to better their lives and hopefully humanity in the future.
Yeah. Because just even think about when we were growing up, just our generation, the things we used to say in slang that are and not even like there are plenty of derogatory terms that we use, like the word gay being one of them. That used to
Yeah,
be
that
the
used to be
thing to say.
a big thing, and
Yeah.
everybody would say it. And then after a while, you realize you're like,
How
that's
low
wrong.
vibration is that? How
Yeah,
low, and it makes you feel like crap. Like once you're like now that, and I don't know if it's just because I'm older and more aware, but when you
that's
say it, and like even if I say it, in joking, it just makes me feel like trash to say that, because it's like there is like this caste system still embedded in these words that we speak.
yes,
And you think about, yeah, just like how you said daughter, but it was even a joke. I don't remember what movie it was, when she's like, oh, it's the semester, and it should be the ovariester or something like that, and like this is a male dominated kind of
yeah,
thing, and I'm like, it's not to say that it's male dominated, but there are just even certain words that just have like this historical horrific meaning that you keep perpetuating and you keep using, or even somebody's name. Have you
yes,
ever not been able to say somebody's name before because it messes you up? Like,
yeah, yeah.
I've been there. I've dated it.
For real, for real. But it does. I mean, and I do think, down to that. I mean, anything with vibration. I mean, anything with vibration, it's not a positive vibration.
Hmm.
It's gonna affect you negatively. We're not trying to go there. I mean, it's normal, but we don't want to stay there.
Yeah, no, you don't want to be that. And that's the thing. When I like to make this a point to tell people, when you say lower vibration, it doesn't mean you're horrible, you're bad, you're shitty, nothing. It just means different. It just literally means different. It does not mean that it's bad, because guess what? Sometimes people need to be in a lower
Yep.
vibration. It just
Just like,
happens.
yeah, and grief brings you to lower vibrations, and that's part of. I mean, that's part of what our human journey.
Mhm.
To say that nobody ever has low vibrations, like really though, because if you're human, unless you're a robot, which we're not. So I
Coming in
mean, then
2024.
we all have to deal with that. It's just learning to navigate that, learning to navigate those, so that you can kind of get yourself moving at least don't stay there. Just move, hopefully up, and that's what when I talk about like the vibrational cone of emotions. Your emotions have a frequency as well. So if you're feeling fear, grief, doubt, boredom, those are all below. Those are all a contracted frequency. So then you don't realize it, but you're pulling from the people around you. And so then that's when other people perceive you as like, oh, and it's natural. It's almost like an instinct. Like we can actually, it's palpable. You can feel it off of some people.
Mhm.
Um, so it's just navigating to get us out of those, and more to gratitude and appreciation and enlightenment and peace
Yeah.
to that.
And that's ultimately what everybody wants. And and sometimes you just feel like by um, releasing, your truth. And if it's your real truth and it's coming from your heart and your throat chakra, I know people are like, what the hell is she talking about? But then You said it really well. It's like it's not about like because you can be on this frequency, this lower level, this grief, this depression. But you know what? You're trying to heal. You're still moving. The problem is
Exactly.
when you stagnate and you sit there, and that's the point. I feel like that. I feel like that's the point of sound healing, is that
Yes.
it's shaking the shit up. It's breaking out the
Yeah.
shit that doesn't need to be there. It's like beams of light, kind of like when you picture it, and it's cracks coming through and all the light. That's how I picture
Yeah. Yeah.
sound healing.
Absolutely.
That's exactly how I picture it.
Absolutely. No,
We'll
because
see what
it's permeating the cells. There's no way for it to go. You know what I mean? It's like you said. And it's funny that you mentioned the throat because the crystal bowl that I have is the G chakra. So that is the throat. So it is to
the
help clear
D,
clarity.
the what?
Uh oh.
What's it called? What's it called?
Uh oh. Hold on. Okay. Now I can. All right. You were glitching for a second. What'd you say?
What's it called? The G spot?
No, the G chakra for your
I'm
throat.
like, oh, because ain't nobody gonna be finding that.
That's one way to get people's attention with sound healing. Call it that. They're like, wait, what'd you say? Excuse me? What? Wait, what? Where? No, but that's actually the practitioner bowl that I have, the crystal bowl, is the G for the throat chakra. So that one
That's
clears
cool.
that. But you can use it all over the body, but that's the one that I felt needed to be because I think a lot of people don't they have stagnated emotions. They don't even know how to talk about them to get them out.
Yo, communication. And I
Mm-hmm.
know I'm not the best at it
Nobody
either.
all the time. I mean, we're human again.
Yeah, like it's damn, is it storming? We're over here
Yes.
talking about something that just started storming outside of here, I think. Anyway, but like communication, and I find that that's also music. It's music, sound. It's communicating your emotions and
Yes.
just the intention behind it. Your intention sets so much, and you'll find that the theme to healing tends to overlap. So
Yes.
it even with magic and that kind of thing, it's magic is real, guys.
Yeah.
Sorry.
My thing is,
It,
is if a miracle is real, isn't that the same thing as magic?
yep,
And
yep.
aren't you basically a walking miracle? So don't sit here and tell me you don't believe in magic if you believe in miracles, because it's the same thing.
Hmm. And then you know what? Also, let's get a little weird.
Let's do it.
So, like, what is magic? Like, what is a miracle? And is that not just what you perceive it to be? Like, a miracle can be that it rains after a drought. You a miracle can be that your check came in the mail. You knew you were getting paid on Friday, but your check came,
Yep.
and that can be its own miracle.
Yep.
So really, I think that people need to start to perceive their power differently, and that's why I brought up the antenna thing before,
Yes.
because what you put out there, somebody's going to pick it up, and something that somebody else is putting out, it's like a satellite. It's this give and
Yes.
receive kind of thing. So
Yes.
if you're only ever putting out um I don't like to use the word negative, but I feel like it's just a good moniker for how
Yeah.
people understand things.
Yeah.
But if you're only ever putting out um negative vibrations, that's the only path that you're opening up to yourself.
Absolutely.
And I
Absolutely.
never could understand that. I never could understand that ever. And I used to be the one that would bitch and complain about, oh, they have something I don't. How come they have this? I deserve that.
Mm-hmm.
I should have got this. This is how it should have been for me.
Mm-hmm.
And all that ever did was focus and bring to me
Yes.
more opportunities to see what I don't have,
Right.
versus when I, put that to the side
Mm-hmm.
and I start focusing on what I do have and how I want to increase that.
Yes.
And literally, like, I started in the
Almost immediately.
Yeah, you manifest that shit right away, like
Yep. And
out of nowhere.
yep.
That's
Yep.
magic.
Yes, yes, yes. And that's the thing, like people don't realize like greed and envy and those feelings, they prevent you, like you're saying, from seeing the now because you're not focused on your now. You're focused on their now and what they
Mhm.
have and all of that is just taking the attention away from the self. And really those are things that we need to work on, you know what I mean? And
Mhm.
it happens to all of us. I mean, social media is like the mecca for that. We see people with their bags and whatever, their stuff, because it's
Twins,
material
they all twins.
possessions. And you're like, you know what, I want that. And yes, to a degree everybody's entitled and everybody's deserving, and guess what? There is enough for everybody. There is.
Mhm.
It's our own blockages to our blessings that prevent us from receiving that. So it almost
Mhm.
has to do with like worthiness, and you just have to take all that comparison and all that other shit out. Just take it out of the equation, um, and just refocus. But I don't think a lot of people realize that. And like you're saying, if you're an antenna and that's what you're putting out, that's all the universe can respond with.
Yep. And
And that ask, believe, receive thing is that's that's real. That's
that
real.
is,
But you have to believe it.
you do. And there's going to be doubt. There definitely will always be doubt. And especially even when you're doing all these alternative methods that really are the original methods, they're not the
Yeah.
alternative methods. What you practice now
Mhm.
in Western society is the alternative medicine,
Mhm.
because it's not medicine. Anyway, but like, as soon as you start practicing these things, it really, really, really happens. And that's why it's important to incorporate what you listen to, how you speak,
Yes.
the words of the people that you're around. What are they speaking? Because sometimes people are triggering you and they don't
Yes.
even know that they're triggering you. And it's not your job to change someone's
No.
persona or personality or anything. That
Nope.
is your own work. And sometimes you have to just kind of clear yourself.
Yep.
And really, because you're now, especially as an empath, then you start to live somebody else's life
Yes.
because their words are so ingrained in you. And it's not because of anything that they do with themselves, but rather, like mirroring, you're
What
projecting, and
what you're
it is.
picking up on, what you're
Yeah,
picking up on them from them
and we
energetically.
all have these commonalities. Like we all do these things, so it's not absurd to think that you're not going to mirror these behaviors because now it's what is around you, and
Mhm.
it's normal. It's normal.
Yes.
It's just about you being the one that you have to be mindful and then go, okay, well, what do I want? I came off the course a little bit. What do I want? And go back at it and put it back out there what
Yes.
you want. And
Yes.
it's not going to stop. It's not going to just not come to you because you slipped off for 5 minutes or a week or a month or a year.
No. Before
You
you
just
get
get back
on,
on.
you just
Yeah.
you have to be actively working at it, and that's where the growth comes in. I think people, you know, who doesn't want, but it takes time. It takes time and understanding and compassion and, learning and really having that thirst for the knowledge to learn those ancient healing techniques. They do
Yeah.
work, but they do work.
So
Yeah.
I got my
So
clingy clings.
the
Um so I didn't know what these were called. I just called them clingy clangs.
their
Um
tinctures is what they're called.
Wait, repeat it again. You broke up.
It's tinctures.
Tinctures. It's like the
Hmm.
CBD oil,
Yeah.
tinctures. But let's set this time now for you to kind of just show us some of your tools. You want to play some tones for us. We got um, about 20 minutes, 15 minutes or so,
Okay.
but we still can bullshit too. But hold on, let
Okay.
me just.
Yeah. All right. So, the first thing that I kind of want to show is, since I have them nearby, are these cool shaman seeds. Now they sound very, I don't know if ASMR got real popular like recently, so you can like tap on these, shuffle these. I like to shake them over the body when I do sound healing. They bring a nice little rattle, sweep off that energy debris if it's doesn't belong there. And then I have bigger drums and stuff, like a buffalo drum. That one's great. Very deep tone, very grounding. I like to wave that over the body. And some other drums and stuff. But I wanna show, these are zephyrs. So these are actually French chimes, and they're very very nice. They're very peaceful. This one is there's a set of 5. These are crystallite. And this one is twilight. I love these. They're very whimsical, very, I don't know, they're so happy. They make you, I like playing them at the end of a Reiki session or sound healing. They're great. This is the blue moon. And then the next one's this one is Sufi. And then this last one that I have is Sunray. They're all very beautiful. I find wind chimes do have the same healing properties, but these are specifically attuned to certain notes and to the golden ratio. So those are specifically for, and I find that you can kind of tell because they make you feel nice. Wind chimes are wonderful, and that's the way of nature playing its own healing tunes to you. So yes, they will do that. I find when you get wind chimes, it's great to use to keep in mind the different elements. So while there's wood ones or bamboo, there's metal ones. I have a set of metal ones outside, and during a storm, it sounds so awesome. And there are other ones too. You can get like different crystals on them. They do provide that though. And then I posted a video earlier of my dolphin bowl, but I'm not gonna play that on here because it sounds high pitched through technology, but when you hear it in front of you, it's a very deep reverberation. But I am gonna play the crystal bowl. So this is
crystal bowl.
yeah. So this is what we call a practitioner bowl, and the reason we call it the practitioner bowl is because it has the handle. And this handle is great during either sound healings, or I actually used it sometimes during my I do like a blended healing session where I intuitively use whatever tools or attunement for Reiki, IET, that I feel is necessary. So it's kind of, I use everything that I have. And this tool I use so I can place this on the different areas of the body, and I can actually hear where there's a stagnation. And I will play this bowl and then place the handle on the body. And if there is a blockage, I can hear it. So then, I do play it. If it gets too loud, tell me. So this one's great. The crystal bowls provide a deeper level of healing than most tools. And I will say that because they are made from, crystals, and some of them are like, I don't know if some people know this, but in our pineal gland, we have selenite crystals in our pineal gland. So I feel like when you play these, it kind of like connects to that and allows it to like clear so that you can get in contact with your higher self, which is there, but sometimes all the other stuff, the three-dimensional stuff, kind of blocks our ability to connect. So I'll play that again. And then let's see. I also use my buffalo drum, my ocean drum. That one's nice. That uses metal beads inside of a drum, and it sounds like ocean waves. People love that one. I also have my steel tongue drum. It's very small, very very nice, gentle tones. Trying to think of what else.
What are the drums good for versus the bowls?
So drums are good for grounding, and some sound healers, they only use crystal bowls, or like crystal bowls and chimes, or like Tibetan bowls. But I find that you don't get the best sound healing unless you start with a deeper tone first to help ground that person, so that you can put back into the earth what doesn't belong to you. So it helps like ground during the session and really connect to those lower chakras, your root chakra specifically, because a lot of people they feel, our root chakra is connected with money, security, and safety and worthiness. And a lot of people suffer in that area. So I like to play those deeper drums because they do provide that grounding that people need, and that stability, in the self. So,
That kind of shakes it up, grounds them, and then you go in with the lighter
yeah,
things and do the
yeah,
healing. Kind of like surgery. You do the big
yeah,
cuts, and then everything after that is
yeah.
precision.
Yes, exactly, exactly. And then the follow-up care, because there is follow-up care. People think, oh, I just went to a sound healing and I'm just gonna go on with my day and I'm gonna feel fine. That might not be the case. You might have so much stuff backed up in there that you need a good cry and a nap and a good meal, and then and some water for the next 2 or 3 days, and then you feel okay. But to think that you're just gonna go to sound healing and that's it. All right, the sound healing's done. You're getting up. You're gonna feel different. And if you don't feel different, then I would question the sound healer, what they did, maybe not go back to that session, because not every sound healer is right for everybody, you know. Um, but I think that there's definitely aftercare. It's a form of healing. You gotta be gracious with your body and what it's telling you, and honor that, um, so that it can do its work.
Would there be any times that, and I guess this is a good question to ask now, would there be any times where you would tell somebody not to get sound healing?
The only time I would tell somebody not to get sound healing is there are certain mental diagnoses that it could aggravate, specifically people with, well, it could aggravate it if they're not in a good mental capacity at that time. So maybe if you're not in a good headspace that day, you might not want to go, because you're already blocking it. So, like, you're wasting your money at that point. You should be excited about it. You should be ready for it. And you should be open to the process, because I think a lot of people, they close off because it's the unknown. And it's like, all right, well, it's the unknown, but do you want growth or do you want to stay the same?
And is there a solfeggio frequency that'll make people wear their freaking masks?
So I would say for that one, I would probably recommend, I believe it's 639, which is the one for communication. Let's see. Yep. 639. That's the community. Helps with unconditional love, helps connect to the higher realms of light. So that's the one I would use.
Oh
But
wow, it worked.
yeah, that's the one that I would use for that for specifically. Um,
So we need to start figuring out a way to blast that on everything, everywhere, so we can all get some compassion.
you know,
Um,
you said that, and I was thinking that was as I was doing my notes for the live, and it said that so when it became like documented for the solfeggio, it was Dr. Joseph Palaio in the 70s, and he was a physician and an herbalist, and he actually found the electromagnetic sound frequency numbers.
mm,
But it said that he received a spiritual vision, and that's what started him on his journey to find those. And they talk about it in a book, and it's supposed sound healing. The ancient tones are supposed to be used as healing tools, and it's a book called Healing Codes for the Biological Apocalypse. So now I got to go find this book because
yeah,
I'm very interested.
we're kind of on a biological apocalypse
Yeah, so I was like,
right
yeah,
now,
maybe
right?
we do need to find that book and kind of dive some more into how we can use these for the collective, because
Yeah,
that's my
seriously.
hopes.
That's awesome. Well, let everybody know um where they can, contact you, how they can get in touch with you, and what you
Okay.
were able to offer during COVID.
Okay. Well, first I want to say again, thank you. And I want to tell them that if they haven't gotten their witch's brew from you or their blue lotus, they are slacking because that blue lotus is where it's at. Um, hey, yeah. So definitely contact. Yeah, yeah, definitely contact Jade for those because they're amazing. And I love both of those products, and I'm a very big fan of what you're doing
Thank
for
you.
humanity. So thank you. Um, you guys can get in contact with me through my IG if you're watching this today. Follow Mae, MAE _ Divine Lotus. Or you can find me on Facebook at The Peace Path. It's facebook.com/ Peaceful Earth Healing. Um, let's see what else. Or you can, message me through here and we can connect. And during COVID, I'm offering pay what you can services right now for everything, for my readings, for sound healings, for Reiki sessions. I am distance attuned, so I'm doing them. I can do them I can do them without us, having a video, or we can do it on video. Um, I am doing some, like, if you wanted to go outdoors and meet outdoors somewhere, we could do a sound healing outside, but obviously using a mask with social distance. I'm a single mom. I'm trying to be safe, and I hope that other people are out there doing the same because we're here to heal and be aware and mindful of each other as a community. Um, yeah,
Oops, upside down.
no mask. Black Lives Matter. I want to say that they do, and yeah, it's interesting times, and I feel like this live is wonderful that we did it, especially on this topic because we really need some
Yeah, just
energy.
in time for Virgo season, so
Yep.
and retrogrades, but we don't got time for all that. But make sure that you reach out to Megan if you're interested in any type of sound healing,
Thank you.
any type of healing service. I've gotten distance, she does distance Reiki for me and for members of my family,
Thank you.
card readings,
You too.
and
Your readings.
and my card readings. So if you need a card reading, okay, contact me for the card reading.
Yeah. You can, yeah, contact me for the card.
That money.
Contact me for the sign. That's fair. That's fair. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with
We
that. I'm
tag
fine with
team I'm off the ropes.
Yep,
Come
it
on.
doesn't matter. What matters is that we're on the same journey trying to help everybody. And
Oh man,
all
that
goes.
was too good. Well, thank you
Yes,
for coming on today.
yes.
This
Thank
is the let me just let everybody know this is gonna be my last live for a little while. Thank you, Nicole. And I'm gonna be on a little bit of a hiatus because a bitch needs to take care of herself first. But
absolutely.
I'm about to dominate after I come back and my brain
Yup,
is bigger.
yup. You got to take them self-care breaks, you know? You got to do that. You got to do that.
Yeah. So, this is my way of like ending the summer, and you're gonna see a lot from me in the next month or so. But my ass is tired. I hike all the time. I
Yes.
need to take a break,
Mm-hmm.
schedule some sound healing, get some card readings. But thank you for doing this today, and thank you everybody for thank you Tortilla Jackson for saying that,
Thank
and
you.
thanks everybody for joining me and all my friends and interesting people for these last few weeks. And yeah, what's coming next? You're gonna want to check it out, but make sure you follow Honeysuckle Magazine
Ooh,
and make
yeah.
sure you follow HS Honey Pot. And
Yes.
that's just going to be my little clue to you guys.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you
Well,
guys again.
thank you. Thank everybody. Let's hold up. Hold on one second. We're going to, and then,
Yeah. Bing. Hold them sideways. Hold them sideways. Belt. Put the belts together. Lift your hands a little bit and slowly, ding.
Nabisco.
Yeah.
They didn't sponsor this at all. Ooh.
Uh-huh.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. The best.
Okay, that's enough from me.
All right. Love you. Thank you again.
All right. Bye. Good night,
Bye.
everybody.
Good night. Bye. Thank y'all.